Okay, so let's talk about what Uranus retrograde means for each of the zodiac rising signs. If you have not watched part 1 of this video regarding what it means for the collective, make sure that you watch that for foundational information first. Now, keep in mind that for the purposes of a general interpretation, I am using the whole house method, which means that every house starts at 0 degrees and ends at 29 degrees. And each house has the equal, 30 degrees. So if, for instance, your chart, typically for my chart readings, I like to use equal house, which means that my rising sign would be at 22 degrees, not 0 degrees, right, of Scorpio. And therefore, that changes the house in which Uranus would be transiting. Okay, for this reason, you have to know your chart, and you have to know where you have 1 degrees of Gemini and up to, or I should say 27 degrees of Taurus up to 1 degrees of Gemini. This is very specifically whatever house that sits in, that is where you're going to want to pay attention to these readings. Having given that little disclosure, I will go ahead and begin with the whole house system. Aries. This Uranus retrograde transit is going between moving from your 3rd house, from the very beginning of your 3rd house, back to the last second of your 2nd house. Now, this is dealing with retrieving values, old methods. This is old traditions. This is, dare I say, like vintage. This is dealing with how you make money. It's dealing with investments, maybe old investments, mutual investments, okay? This is a time where you would want to move stocks around or to, invest in a new stock if you see that it's low, or if or if it's been high and it'll most likely go low, or if it's low, it will most likely go high. This is a time when an investment pays off, or you invest into something that you've already been researching in order for it to pay off in the future. This is a time for you to be creating order out of chaos, any kind of chaos that you may see or dysfunction that you may see in your life. And it will go well for you. If you have any shady connections, it's time to let them loose. This is a time where if anything was done, in the shadows, it will end up coming to light. As long as you've been on the up and up, it's a prime time to really get rooted, grounded, stabilize, dig a really deep, create a really deep foundation, especially with your associations, mentors, teachers, or if you are an elder, you may be that one for somebody else. The vibrations that Uranus brings is helping to compact the soil that will help to create a firm foundation, not on soft soil. So this time moving forward with any plans that you have had, any real life plans, it's going to be more solid as you continue, and also as you cleanse your connections, karmic and just even simple associations that may be distractions for your ultimate goal. With the 2nd house representing values, whether they be metaphoric or monetary, right? And the 3rd house representing our communications, who we speak to regularly, who our neighbors are, who we associate with. those two areas of our lives also contract places that we go to school, where we get our information from. Those are the areas of our lives, right, in which we are having a radical change coming to sweep through and free us from anything that had been holding us back in the past. For Taurus rising, this Uranus retrograde shift is happening between your first and your second house. This is finally radicalizing who you are. It's setting you free. It's liberating you to be exactly who you are. It's taking you out of your comfort zones to rebel and to radicalize all of your associations. Now, the first house is all about the self. It's all about the body. It's all about the identity. It's who I am, right? It's personality. It's what people see first, and that's in Taurus. Now, Taurus is a very sensory-driven sign. If Uranus is transiting your first house, you may be feeling extra sensitive, right, to stimuli, whether it's like EMFs, solar flares, sound, vibration, scent, anything of that nature, chemicals, in products. And for this reason, you'll want to engage in practices that soothe your nervous system. The second house is all about your values, your, net worth, your religion, your, and how you make your money, what your assets are, things of that nature, and your belief systems, of course, right? And so, with Uranus coming through your second house and in the sign of Gemini, Gemini brings in, your community. Not only is it your thoughts, who you resonate with, it's the vibe, right? And so the vibe is changing with you just as much as it is changing with the people around you. You'll start to experience this even more as Uranus stations direct in February and then finally makes it back into Gemini by April of 2026. And you will start to see how your entire environment has begun to change. But this is all a result of the work that Uranus retrograde is doing in your first house in regard to who you are, how you identify yourself, what your belief systems are, what you finally stand on, and any areas in which you've gained new enlightenment, new insight that has changed what you used to think and believe. Gemini and Gemini rising. This is giving me trademarks and patents. It's giving me inventions and generational royalties. Use it to establish yourself in society. Just make sure that you don't allow yourself to become too distracted by people, ideas, dreams, or visions. You will need to maintain some sense of order, keeping in mind that we always want to make sure that we're also in the flow. Meditation is going to be key for you. It will help you to regulate your nervous system and avoid depression from overstimulation. Balance between electronics and mental, stimulation and concentration will help to, or you'll be able to maintain balance by also spending time in nature and in earth. Some herbs and teas could also be of benefit, as well as essential oils. Some of your unconscious fears will come up throughout this Uranus retrograde transit. Uranus is making one last appearance back into your 12th house, unraveling your unconscious undoings and liberating you from unconscious beliefs that had been holding you back, particularly beliefs about yourself. So be gentle on yourself and your nervous system, Gemini. Something brilliant is about to be birthed from you. For Cancer and Cancer rising, this Uranus retrograde transit is occurring between your 11th and your 12th house. So it's taking you back to your beliefs about society and your, associations. It's liberating you from groups of people that you just don't really feel comfortable around anymore. However, while there may be a few straggling, last ends that you're kind of shutting yourself from when it comes to old associations, there will also be old associations that may come back, that might return from out of nowhere, that you haven't been connected to, that will be in alignment, will be of a greater resonance to you in this point in time. Through an old familiar fated encounter, you may just even meet your future partner. Saturn and Neptune are at the MC, so this could even be a fated work partnership or a new title or promotion. One thing you will want to be mindful of is to maintain good boundaries in order to also maintain balance of power. Sometimes, Cancer, you may unconsciously kind of give your power away as you flow with the agendas of other people. So with that being said, make sure that anybody that you connect with on a deeper, more significant, on a committed level, make sure that they are also spiritually in alignment with you, with your path, with your community, with your beliefs.